Yeah, I think the success and failure of being in the sport long term all comes down to resilience, and it's all fine when things go well, but things don't go well and things are hard. And I think his resilience is going to be tested, and I just know that he knows it's a long game.
Breaking 350 was probably the coolest barrier that I've broken, because that's like 3:31 in the 1500 meter conversion indoors. There's definitely a bit more pressure coming with sub 350, but I know that I can keep improving just because I've got such a good coach and I've got so much more I can improve on in my training and in the gym side of it, so that's quite nice to know.
I foolishly said to him what I guess I've been taught to think, which is that running sub 350, you've got to respect that, and that's a lot harder than you think. And I was trying to moderate his expectations, and he just proved me wrong. And who am I to tell him that he can't run under 350?
It's March 19th of 2025. On a cool, crisp evening in Auckland, New Zealand, the 15-year-old Sam Ruthe stepped to the line in the 1 mile distance. Now, this was a very special day because at the time, Sam was still only 15 years old, and the significance of his age proved to be the entire focal point over the following 4 minutes, because for this race, Sam started this race with one clear goal in mind, and that was to break the 4-minute barrier. After the first lap, Sam was still on pace, and he was running with his teammate Sam Tanner, an Olympic performer who had already a sub 350 to his name. And after the second and third lap, Ruthe was still on pace to break 4. This potentially was a record-breaking night for the world to see, and coming down the home stretch, Sam Ruthe officially made history.
Sam Tanner's smiling! Sam Ruthe's right there! Woo-hoo!
With an amazing final 100 and a sub 4-minute mile to his name, Ruthe achieved a time of 3 minutes 58.35 seconds, breaking the sub 4-minute barrier for the 1 mile run much earlier than anyone expected. In fact, before Sam, the youngest athlete to ever break 4 was none other than Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway, who at 16 years, 250 days old, ran a 358.07 in the 2017 pre-classic. This performance from Jakob stood as the gold standard for youth running excellence for almost a decade. But now, Sam Ruthe looked determined to rewrite the history books, just like his predecessor Ingebrigtsen. After breaking 4, Sam officially turned on the jets for every race that followed, because almost every time he hit the track, he broke some kind of record. On July 12th of 2025, Ruthe became the youngest athlete to ever break the 340 barrier in the 1500, running a 339.17 to break the U17 and U18 1500 records. This also proved to be another confidence boost, because later in 2025, he went on a tear at the New Zealand Secondary School Championships, where in just 24 hours, he broke various records. In the 800 meters, Ruthe solo ran a 146.81, and then just 24 hours later, he ran a 338.6 in the 1500. Both incredible age group records, and there were also New Zealand U20 records. These solo time trials placed Sam a significant distance ahead of anyone else at these championships. But following this performance, he again went on another record-breaking run. For his next race, he ran in the 5,000 meters in New Zealand, and for this 5,000 meter performance, he was going after Jakob Ingebrigtsen's age group world record of 13:35. This goal seemed nearly unattainable, especially since Sam was not putting up too much mileage at the time. However, he still ran a 13:40.48, the second fastest time in history for a 16-year-old. 2025 was unquestionably a season to remember. However, for 2026, he has somehow been breaking records with even more frequency.
I think we were really conscious that, but we just want them to be kids, have fun, enjoy life, play sports, do team sports, build friendships, build that camaraderie that you get from that, and just be playful. Because there's plenty of time to run, and we said to them that they could run when they started high school. We just didn't want them to have the pressure, because there were some early signs that they could run. Yeah, I've said to him, like, I fully support whatever he does. If he wants to stop running any time, I 100% support him in that, and if he wants to, go for golds, then I'll just try and help however I can and get out of his way when he wants me out of his way. Yeah, I just try and make it smoother and easier for him. Clearly, when he would run his primary school champs, he was 8 years old, and it was just the school cross country that everybody does, and he'd run past and then we'd wait for a bit and the rest of the kids would come through. Is he just good in a small pond, and then the pond gets bigger, and he ran our national schools champs and the same thing happened. He was out the front and there was half a minute back to the next group, and there was 50 people in the next group, and competition's getting a bit more intense, and then not long later he's running sub 4 for the mile, and so just pools got bigger and bigger and bigger, and he's still doing what he did when he was little. It's just the pool's bigger.
For the 2026 season, Ruthe has been completely unstoppable. To kick off the year on January 3rd, Ruthe broke his national under-20 1,000-meter record with a time of 2:17.83, which also proved to be a world record for the 16 and 17-year-old age brackets. And for this performance, this was his first 1,000-meter race of his entire career. This also placed him quite high on the all-time list for New Zealand, and it even pushed him into the top 5 all-time for New Zealand, just barely falling behind legends such as Peter Snell and Rod Dixon. This was a big day for Sam Ruthe once again, but then just 14 days after this performance, Sam managed to break the New Zealand under-20 record in the 800, achieving a time of 1:45.86, and in the process, he took down his own teammate, Sam Tanner. This 1:45 was another unbelievable time for a 16-year-old, and this proved to be yet another stepping stone towards greatness, as Ruthe's times continued to drop significantly despite running in windy and rainy conditions. But then, just 7 days after this performance, he took to the track in the 1-mile run at the Cook Classic in Wanganui, New Zealand. And for this 1-mile attempt, he ran one of the greatest performances of his career. For this 1-mile run, Sam was clearly going for greatness, but the only issue was the pace up front went out too fast. For this opening lap, he ran a time right around 55.5 seconds, which was practically on world record pace. And because of this opening 400, he then ran a 60 and a 61 for the next 2 laps. And while it seemed as though he was on pace for a time of around 3:58 or 3:59, both Ruthe and Sam Tanner dropped a final 400 of about 56 seconds, and they both achieved times of 3:53. It is remarkable that a 16-year-old was able to run a 3:53 mile, especially given that the pace was not at all optimal. And because of this time, it was pretty clear that Sam could in fact run faster. And then, just 7 days after this 3:53, Sam ran what just might be the greatest performance in running history for a 16-year-old. At the 2026 John Thomas Terrier Classic in Boston, Sam ran a time of 3:48.88, making him the only 16-year-old to ever even get close to the 3:50 barrier. And in the process, he took down a field of very talented professional milers. To do this at 16 is honestly scary. This is the 12th fastest time in indoor running history. And remarkably, Sam Ruthe stated that he can still go faster. The future for Sam Ruthe is undeniably bright, but given the people that are around him, making these improvements seems very realistic.
He's just so talented, and it's just so awesome to have someone so talented to be running with you. And the positive with him being so young is that he feels good every day. Significantly more than I feel good, at least. And so it has made workouts pretty fun and pretty hard. So it's just fun to have a youthful spirit playing games with me and having banter and talking business plans with Ben. And, you know, obviously a lot's been going on in my life over the last 6 months as well, with sponsorship ending, new sponsorship happening, Sammy thrashing me in workouts now, having a baby, like all that stuff. And somehow it's just felt fun the whole time it's just been fun. Yeah, it makes it easy when you got him as a training partner. He's a really cool kid. So.
You know, I can definitely improve upon what I did last track season, and hopefully I can at least maintain the speed and maybe even get a bit quicker for all the races in the US and outdoor season. Every competition I turn up to, there's a lot of sub 4 guys, I guess. So, you know, there's no big pressure with sub 4, but sub 350 is probably where it's like me expecting to actually have a good race against the Olympic champs. So, like, why not just have a crack? You know, I'm 16, I've already ran 348. So, you know, I've already proved myself 2 weeks ago. So when I'm racing Cole Hocker, it'll be stupid of me, I think, to not go and actually try and race him, because, you know, that's something that I could quite surprise myself by doing. It's like, I may as well give that a shot.